The moonlight cast long shadows across the rooftop as a team of thieves assembled, their faces hidden beneath black masks. The city below was quiet, unaware of the high-stakes operation unfolding in its heart. Leo, the team leader, double-checked the blueprints of the high-security vault they were about to infiltrate. Every detail had been planned to perfection. Months of research, surveillance, and preparation had led to this moment. "You ready for this?" Callie asked, nudging Leo's shoulder. She was the team's tech expert, always calm under pressure. Leo nodded, flashing a confident smile. "We've got this. Stick to the plan, and we'll be out of here before anyone knows what happened." Beside them, Marcus, the muscle of the team, cracked his knuckles. "Let's get this over with," he grunted. "The longer we stay up here, the more likely someone will spot us." The final member of their crew, Zara, joined them with a playful smirk. "Relax, boys. I've got a date with $1 million artifact, and I'm not missing it." They rappelled down the side of the building, moving like shadows against the concrete. Callie hacked into the security system, her fingers flying over the keyboard as she disabled the cameras. "We got a 3-minute window," she whispered. "Make it count." Leo and Zara slipped inside, navigating the laser grids with practiced ease. They reached the vault, a massive steel door that had been deemed impenetrable by every security expert in the city. But Leo knew its weakness. "Ready?" he asked, glancing at Zara. She nodded, pulling out a compact explosive device. This is the fun part. The explosion was small, precise, and within seconds, the vault door creaked open. Inside, nestled on a velvet pedestal, was a prize. A gleaming artifact rumored to be worth millions. It was an ancient mask adorned with intricate carvings and embedded with rare gems. "We did it," Zara whispered, her eyes shining with excitement. Leo carefully wrapped the artifact in a protective cloth and placed it into his bag. "Alright, time to move, Callie. We're on our way back." "Copy that," Callie's voice crackled through the comms. "All clear on my end. Let's get you out of here." They regrouped on the rooftop, adrenaline pumping through their veins. Marcus clapped Leo on the back. "I can't believe it. We actually pulled it off." But Zara was already gone. "Where's Zara?" Leo asked, scanning the rooftop. Callie frowned. "She was right behind you. Did she double back?" Panic set in as they realized the truth. The bag with the artifact was gone, and so was Zara. She had vanished without a trace, taking their prize with her. Leo's smile faded, replaced by a steely glare. "We need to find her now." The heist had gone perfectly, but the real game was just beginning. Leo slammed his fist onto the table in the hideout, the sound echoing to the small, dimly lit room. Callie sat across from him, her face pale with shock. Marcus leaned against the wall, his jaw clenched in anger. "She played us," Marcus spat. "Zara planned this from the start. She used us to get inside the vault, and then took the artifact for herself." Callie shook her head, her fingers nervously tapping the edge of her laptop. "I don't understand," she said. "Zara was one of us. We've been working together for years. Why would she do this?" Leo raked his fingers through his hair, trying to make sense of the betrayal. "It doesn't matter why," he snapped. "What matters is finding her before she sells the artifact. The mask is worth millions, and every black market buyer in the city will be after her." Callie's eyes flickered to her screen. "I've got a lead," she said. Zara's burner phone pinged the location a few miles from here. "It's near the old railway station." Marcus grabbed his coat, already heading towards the door. "Let's go. She won't get away with this." They raced through the city, the adrenaline from the heist replaced by simmering fury. The railway station was dark and abandoned, its once grand arches now crumbling and covered in graffiti. They moved quietly, listening for any sign of movement. "There," Leo whispered, pointing to a shadow moving in the distance. They cornered Zara near the tracks, her back against a rusted metal door. She didn't look surprised to see them. If anything, there was a flicker of sadness in her eyes. "You shouldn't have come here," she said softly. "Why, Zara?" Leo demanded. "Why betray us? We trusted you." She sighed, pulling the artifact from her bag. It simmered in the moonlight, its carvings casting strange shadows across her face. "You don't understand," she said. "This isn't about money. It was never about the money." Marcus stepped forward, his face twisted with anger. "Don't lie to us. You stole it for yourself." Zara shook her head. "No, I took it to return it." "Return it?" Callie asked, bewildered. "Who?" "To its rightful owner," Zara said quietly. "This mask belongs to an indigenous tribe. It was stolen from them centuries ago, taken by explorers who only saw it as a valuable artifact. But to them, it's sacred. It's a part of their heritage." Leo's eyes narrowed. "And you decided this on your own, without telling us?" "I knew you wouldn't understand," Zara said. "You're too blinded by the treasure, by the thrill of the heist. But this isn't ours to keep." For a moment there was silence. The mask seemed to pulse with a life of its own, as if it held the weight of history within its carved surface. Leo realized then that Zara wasn't motivated by greed. She was motivated by something far deeper. Zara held the mask gently, almost reverently, as she stepped away from the team. The raw emotion in her eyes was something Leo hadn't seen before. It was as if the artifact had transformed her from the thrill-seeking thief he knew into someone he barely recognized. "We risked everything for this," Marcus said, his voice low and dangerous. "And you're just gonna give it away? You don't get it, do you?" Zara snapped. "This mask isn't just a piece of treasure. It's a piece of their history, a symbol of their ancestors. Returning it is the only right thing to do." Leo felt his anger waver, replaced by cold realization. He had never questioned the morality of their heist before. They were thieves, sure, but he had never considered the impact of what they stole beyond the money. This time, though, it was different. The mask wasn't just valuable, it was priceless in a way that had nothing to do with gold. "Who told you about this?" Leo asked quietly. Zara's expression softened. "I met someone," she said, "an elder from the tribe. He found me months ago, told me the story of the mask. I didn't believe him at first, but then I did my own research. He was right. The artifact was taken during an expedition 100 years ago. It's been traded, bought, and sold, but it never belonged to any of those people." Callie's eyes widened. "So you planned this all along? You joined the heist just to steal it back for them?" "Yes," Zara admitted. "I couldn't tell you. I knew you wouldn't agree. You're too focused on the payout." Marcus stepped closer, fist clenched. "We've risked everything for the score, Zara. We got buyers lined up. You can't just walk away with it." Zara's face hardened. "You can't stop me," she said. "And if you try, you'll be no better than the thieves who stole it in the first place." Leo raised a hand, stopping Marcus before he could speak. "She's right," he said, his voice hollow. "We've been blinded by our own greed. We never stopped to think about the people who lost us." He turned to Zara, a bitter smile on his lips. "But you should have trusted us." "I'm sorry," Zara said. And for the first time, Leo saw tears in her eyes. "I wanted to believe you'd do the right thing, but I couldn't take the chance." There was a tense silence, broken only by the distant sound of a train rumbling through the city. "What now?" Callie asked, her voice small. "Now," Leo said, looking at the mask, "we let her go." The tension hung in the air like a thick fog as the team stood at the abandoned railway station. Zara's grip tightened on the artifact, her knuckles white against the polished gold. The moonlight cast long shadows across the cracked concrete, making the scene feel like a moment frozen in time, just before everything changed. "You're really gonna let her walk away with it?" Marcus growled, his fists clenched, trembling with barely restrained fury. "After everything we risked?" Leo met his gaze, his face lined with exhaustion. "Yes, we are," he said quietly. "Because she's right. The mask doesn't belong to us. It never did." Callie's eyes darted between them, her expression torn. "I don't like this," she admitted. "But I get it. This isn't just another job. It's bigger than us." Marcus let out a bitter laugh. "Bigger than us? We're thieves, Leo. This is what we do. We take risks, we steal what others can't, and we get paid. That's the game." "Maybe we've been playing the wrong game," Leo said softly. He took a step towards Zara, his expression a mixture of regret and respect. "I should have seen it, Zara. You were never in this for the money. You wanted to make things right." Zara's eyes shimmered with unshed tears. "I didn't want to betray you," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "But I couldn't trust that you'd understand. I've seen what this mask means to the tribe. It's a symbol of their history, their identity. We can't take that away from them again." Leo nodded, his jaw clenched. He glanced at Callie, who was watching them with a pained expression. "What do you think?" he asked her. Callie sighed, running a hand through her hair. "I think this was never going to end the way that we planned," she said. "But maybe that's okay. Maybe this time we do something good." Marcus threw his hands up in frustration. "Fine," he snapped. "But don't expect me to go along with this. I'm out." He turned on his heel and stormed away, disappearing into the shadows of the railway station. Zara watched him go, her shoulders slumping. "I ain't want it to end like this," she whispered. "It's not your fault," Callie said gently. "You did what you thought was right." Zara took a deep breath, then turned to face Leo. "I have to go," she said. "The elder is waiting for me at the edge of the city. He'll take the mask back to the tribe. They've been waiting for this for generations." Leo stepped closer, pressing a small, folded piece of paper into her hand. "Here," he said. "It's the coordinates to a safe house. Use it if you need to stay low for a while. You're still one of us, Zara, even if we're not on the same side anymore." She looked at the paper, then back at him, her eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you," she said, "for understanding." With one last lingering glance, Zara turned and disappeared into the night, the artifact cradled against her chest like a precious secret. Leo watched her go, feeling the weight of his decision settle heavily on his shoulders. The following morning, Leo sat alone in the hideout, staring at the empty table where the artifact should have been. The adrenaline of the heist had worn off, leaving behind a hollow ache. He spent his life chasing after treasures, driven by the thrill of the hunt and the promise of wealth. But now as he thought of Zara and the mask, he realized he had never truly understood the value of what they stole. Callie entered the room quietly, a steaming cup of coffee in her hand. She slid it across the table to Leo and sat down across from him. "How are you holding up?" she asked. He let out a dry laugh. "I don't know," he admitted. "I've lost scores before, but this feels different. It's like we've lost more than just treasure." Callie nodded slowly. "Because we did," she said. "We lost a piece of ourselves in this job. It's not about the money, it's about what the artifact represented. The history, the culture, the lives we never considered." Leo looked down at his hands, the realization hitting him hard. "I've always thought of us as thieves, but maybe we've been more like vandals," he said, "taking what we want without thinking of the people we leave behind." "Not always," Callie said gently, "but this time, yeah, we crossed the line. Zara saw it before we did." "She's braver than any of us," Leo said. He took a deep breath and met Callie's gaze. "You think she'll be okay?" Callie gave him a small, sad smile. "She will be. She's doing the right thing, and that counts for something. It's more than we can say for ourselves." Leo nodded, feeling a strange sense of peace. It wasn't the ending he planned, but it was the ending that felt right. He stood up, grabbing his coat. "I think I need some time," he said. "I need to figure out what comes next." Callie didn't try to stop him, she just gave him a knowing look. "Take all the time you need, Leo. We've got a lot to think about." He walked out of the hideout, stepping into the morning light. The city was waking up, the streets filled with the sounds of life, going on as usual. But for Leo, everything felt different. He had seen the true cost of their greed, and it had changed him. He looked out toward the edge of the city, where Zara would be meeting the Elder. He knew that he wouldn't see her again, but he also knew she was exactly where she needed to be. With a weary heart, he turned and walked away, leaving behind the life he had known. For the first time, he wasn't chasing after gold or glory. He was searching for something far more valuable, a chance at redemption.